Hi there, Loy Machedo. Sweeney you from loymachedo.com. Who's Loy Machedo? Think personal branding. All right. I have to give you a very shocking statement, which I was, kind of sure. But now, after watching this shocking documentary, I can tell you 100%, at least my view, my prediction is Andrew Tate is finished. And I'll tell you why. Okay. Now, links for whatever I'm talking about is put down below. I don't know if you saw this. Vice News channel, okay, they come out with all this shocking stuff that other main news channels don't come out with. Okay, so they have undercover journalists who really expose the dark underbelly of the the dangerous world that most news channels will not talk about. So when they came out 8 days ago, that they had this exclusive uh, video. It was titled Women Allege Sexual and Physical Abuse by Andrew Tate. That was just a 6-minute clip that they were going to come out with a full documentary. I was very eager and I was waiting. Now, as I Google searched almost every single day, I realized that this documentary was maybe behind for exclusive members or members who pay money. So I was not able to see it until now, that is. What I did is I watched the whole, how long is it? 45 minutes. I think it's around 45 minutes, 57 seconds. Okay, I watched the whole documentary and I took down notes. And I'll tell you exactly why I feel Andrew Tate is finished. I'll give you my thoughts. Now, this documentary was created by these two guys, Matt Shea, that is Twitter Matt _A_ Shea. I'll put the links down below, and Jamie Tashin at Twitter, Jamie Tashin. Okay, links are put down below. And they have also asked that if you have anything exclusive, send it to doc team at vice.com. And if people are very worried about their privacy, to send it to vice team at proton.me. Okay, so they actually collected a lot of information for this. Now, the interview, the actual documentary, it shows one of these two journalists, or the undercover reporter. He's actually going to meet Andrew Tate, and this was shot on August 22nd, August 22nd, 2022. August 2022. That was before he got banned and all these controversies took place. So, he's waiting outside, and it kind of reminded me of the Thai Lopez kind of, when H3 went to visit, he's another YouTuber, went to visit Thai Lopez, who's that very famous YouTuber who put here in my garage, ads. So this guy, Andrew Tate, has this exclusive house in Romania, massive. It's really big. There's a big house compound, like you have to go inside. And as you go inside, Andrew Tate actually welcomed this guy. So I guess Andrew Tate didn't know what was going to happen after the subsequent events after August. So he bought this guy to show off, predominantly to show off. And you can clearly make out everything was planned because he has his bodyguards who are walking at the side, lawyers who are there. Just reminded me of the same thing that H3 tried to do when he went to meet Thai Lopez. So he had his bodyguards there, he had his lawyers there from afar. So this guy is walking with Andrew Tate, and Andrew Tate tells him, this house is confidential, this house, you cannot visit, this place, you cannot go. But then he takes him around where he wants him to see, along with the camera, shows him the cars, and then finally takes him to the residence. And over there, you can Google search this, where Andrew Tate actually invites this guy, shows him around the house, and that female who has been arrested with him for human trafficking, she was there. They show her also, and when he wants to talk to her, Andrew Tate says, no, don't talk to her. And then he finally takes him to his podcast room. They have a room for podcasting. They have a room for social media. They have different rooms. It's very well done. Huh? So at the podcast is where he rags this guy, kind of makes fun of him and tells him he's a singer, he's here to sing a song. He and his brother Tristan. And his brother Tristan actually says, I'm not comfortable with this guy being here, which was very wise. But Andrew Tate was in his own bubble at that time. So they have the podcast, and then they take a break as he's busy ragging this guy and saying, I'm going to kick him out and all that. And when he gives a break, he breaks character and says, listen, why don't you say something back to me, make it controversial and all that. So, they capture all these things behind the scenes. And then the funny thing is, as this guy comes out, podcast is over, these two guys who are sitting there with huge monitors, they are actually social media marketing professionals. As soon as the podcast was over, immediately they had taken video clips of that video. They had put, text, and they had sent viral clips to different accounts. And it was actually being done real time. That means if I shoot a video right now, I have this professional team that does the video editing and the marketing. But what really blew the mind of this guy was he had this Hustlers University, which even now, if you Google search, I think you can find Hustlers University. Andrew Tate is inviting subscriptions where there are 110 students, 110,000 students, which Andrew Tate claims that many students he has. Now, the students are being taught cryptocurrency. They are being taught affiliate marketing. They are being taught drop shipping, Shopify, how to make money online, being a social media brand. But there is one area which he didn't tell him, and later on he found out. The same video that was shot, bits and pieces of the clip, they were being sent to all these students, and students can upload these on their multiple channels, on TikTok, on Instagram feed, on Facebook. Remember, this was before he got banned. So Andrew Tate is sending one long form content. Then he has a social media guy who breaks down these videos into interesting, spicy bits. And then you have an army of 110,000 people who are waiting to share these videos on multiple platforms in multiple accounts, which are not real. And why would they do that, you'd ask me, is because each one of them gets 48% revenue share. That means if I get $100, I give you 48%. Okay. And some of the students, if you watch the interview, are even 13 years old, 15 years old, young boys who are sitting at home doing nothing. So why not? This is a good money-making racket. And he makes them feel special by saying, you will be part of my inner circle. You'll be part of my, the top achievers will be here. So it's kind of multi-level marketing, not actually multi-level. It's a single level marketing. But people want to be in that group and take advantage of making money and getting all this content. Okay. And then if that was not shocking enough, after this was what blew my mind. He finished the podcast, and then he takes him to an inner room where there are these students. It's like a seminar. It's like a stage is set up there. Andrew Tate is there. There are 2-3 presenters who are there. And there are people who are sitting down on chairs. And it's like another total different room, kind of a mini auditorium. And over there, it seems each person who's sitting there paid $5,000 just to be in that seminar. They had to pay for the travel ticket, they had to pay for the stay, everything. Plus, they had to pay $5,000 to be there at that seminar. And each one of them, I think they were roughly, I'm just saying roughly, maybe there were 50 or 100 people there. So you can calculate the math. So after these people are come there, he starts talking to them as if he's hosting a seminar. And, as I was listening to bits and pieces of the seminar, I really marveled at the fact that he has a program where he teaches people things, he tells them stuff. But this is where it gets a little twisted. And this is where it's a dark side. The way he was talking to them it reminded me as if it was a cult group, as if it was some kind of Osho, like religion, where it's we alpha male, we have to do this and rise to the occasion. And he also had a person who was a hypnotist, supposed to be the greatest hypnotist or whatever. One of the two things here stood out. One, he surprised everyone by saying, okay, now that you're paid is the ultimate test for you to prove that you're a man or not. How many of you agree that to get into a ring, he had another auditorium where there would be a ring, a kickboxing ring, where he challenged them. You have to fight with a professional fighter, okay, actually fight and prove yourself, whether you win or lose. Okay, most of them would lose. You have to take a beating and prove that you're an actual man. And the logic being, in life will hit you with so many punches and kicks and, challenges. You will fall down, but are you afraid or are you truly a man? And one third of the room agreed. They are given documents where they have to sign a disclaimer, an official disclaimer that they will not sue Andrew Tate or whatever, and not given any training. You just have to straight away go get ready and you'll be asked to fight. Even this Vice reporter, he didn't want to do that, but then he was like, okay, fine, let me go and see what I get, maybe some extra content. Okay. Two-thirds of the room remained there, and the Vice, that interviewer, he was allowed to speak to some of these guys. He asked them, listen, why didn't you want to go? Some of them said, no, listen, I'm not into fist fighting. One other guy said, I've actually been, sparring with people. And if you go with a professional fighter, you can get injured, knocked out, you can get, brain injury or something. So, okay, fine. So then the other room, these guys were getting prepared for it. And he was still taking the camera. The camera was following him. And then finally was the actual show where Andrew Tate would sit down. It's like Dana White's Contender series. It kind of reminded me of that, UFC or MMA, where they are checking the tryouts, And there was an audience there. These people are asked to walk to the ring. Yay, like, for example, suppose I was there, example. They say, the next speaker, they have a professional speaker system, lighting, everything. And it's being telecasted. I don't know where, was it a private this thing? The next fighter is Loy Machedo. And then I have to walk and there are camera flashes and there is lighting. And then I go to the ring, there is a referee there, there's a fighter. And depending how hard you try to hit or knock the guy, that guy will respond. So this reporter, he was skinny and all that, didn't do much. So he just put him down and they kind of had fun and they laughed at it and all that. And, they finished the match. And yes, there was one person who got knocked out and there were 2-3 others who got slight injuries. But after they finished the training, they were taken to a separate room where the ones who took part and the ones who didn't take part were together. The ones who took part, they were asked to stand up once again and give their testimony. How did they feel? And the ones who did not take part, they were asked to stand. Why didn't they take part? And the coach, the trainer who's there tells them, accept your shame, live with that shame. But now, it's not all hope is lost. Still, you can be a man. So there's a bonding. Now, after this was the part which was again shocking. What was shocking is people were asked, okay, now for those of you who would like to remain here, and remember, there are married people and single people, like they are all sharing. It's like Alcoholic Anonymous. One guy was saying, I want to be a man. I want to fight my fears. I don't want to be afraid of life. That's why I went and took part. One other guy says, I'm a father to a son. I want my son to be a real man. That's why I came here. But I feel ashamed. I didn't have the guts to fight. But next time I will. So they are kind of supporting each other. So after this, Andrew Tate says, okay, now we are going to have the entertainment, the evening part of the session. Those who would like to remain, be here. Those who want can leave. And you know what is the entertainment? Booze and girls, lots of girls, okay? And obviously he asks a Vice reporter, you're not allowed to camera film and all that. When they go outside from the window, they can make out that these are naked girls. Actually, in this interview, you can see that. No, you can't see it, but the shadow and all that you can make out. Another thing which I also found surprising is, during this workshop that they have, this 2-3 days where people are paid money, they are even given kickboxing training, kind of like exercise session. They have to exercise together. They have to be together. That guy who I told you is a hypnotist or something. They have to sit together, meditate, and they're given theories and lectures. So it's like a full-fledged cult group. It's like you go for one of these seminars, Tony Robbins or whatever. He has actually made this like a kind of a seminar. And, it was, they literally I wouldn't say brainwash, but they kind of instill these values and they kind of give each other support. Come on, you can do it, you can fight and all that. So people feel this sense of belonging to a group of so-called alpha males who want to be alpha and change, And I'll tell you this, what I realized is if Andrew Tate was given the full freedom to continue this, I'm telling you, he would have grown into some kind of cult group like Osho. Guaranteed, he would have been very famous, very rich, very successful, and you'd get people from all over the world. Forget $5,000. I think it just because he started, I'm pretty sure people would be even ready to pay $10,000. You have so many of these so-called coaches who do these things. So And later on, it seems Andrew Tate made around 5 or 6 million or some 100 million. Some big figure. I can't get the exact through all this these activities. One more thing, which was pretty. This is the dark part towards the climax. He had made money. They go back into his history, whereby he had made money pimping girls for webcam sex, and how he used to bring girls. And then they managed to. This is towards the ending, ending of the documentary. They actually take interviews with these girls who are part of his sex scam or webcam business. Andrew Tate challenges the Vice reporter, saying that I challenge you to bring anyone who can complain and say that I took advantage of them, I was a misogynist, or I attacked them. I challenge you to bring anyone. I don't think he ever thought that he would get that the Vice reporter would actually get these victims coming forward. And they censor their face, they censor their voice, and they do get these 2 or 3 girls who literally admit that he not only, the kind of forced sex, having a twosome, threesome, and slapping, hitting, beating during sex, kind of a rough sexual fantasy that some men have. In porn, when you watch a porno, they give you this wild, crazy, not realistic kind of sex where, put this in my mouth, I put this in your mouth, and you have a twosome, threesome. So he was actually living that kind of life, and the girls he was targeting were the 20-year-olds, the young girls who were, just want to make money easy, but they didn't know what they were moving towards. Maybe they were somewhere totally comfortable. I'm not saying they are saints, but they were somewhere really not comfortable, and these girls were really crying about it. Okay, uh, you can be the devil's advocate, and you can say maybe they are faking it, maybe it's real. But I'm telling you what I saw in the documentary. And then he moves towards the part where he says that Andrew Tate finally got his accounts cancelled. And one second, he got his accounts cancelled. He got banned on YouTube, TikTok, all these channels, Facebook. And then, the apology that he gave and said that the Matrix is against me. And then they even show him moving to Dubai. They show the part embracing Islam. And you must have seen online, this guy who I spoke about, this Tam Khan, who is hanging around everywhere. He's also a kickboxer and who endorses the innocence of Andrew Tate. That this guy, Tam Khan, who is a YouTuber or whatever he is in Dubai, he's literally endorsing Andrew Tate. He's endorsing him as he's a good man, he's my friend. I don't agree with his views, but he's being framed. He has a video himself. In fact, he has been featured on Insider. He has been featured on all these YouTube channels endorsing Andrew Tate. I really hope that this guy is very aware of what he's doing, because he's putting his own reputation on the line, associating himself with this guy. And remember this, when Andrew Tate went to Dubai, he proudly bragged about meeting these sheikhs. There was some rich ruling family, I can't get the name. He was meeting the lions, meeting the children, meeting the children of some rich, influential guy. I think it was the Belhassa home, I'm not too sure. You can correct me if I'm wrong. There was one rich Arab family that he took photographs and uploaded on social media. Now, if they find him guilty, which I believe all this will be used against him, and my prediction is 99.99% they are going to, call him guilty. The verdict is going to be he's guilty. He will be jailed for many years, maybe minimum 5, maybe it can be 10 years, but he will be jailed. Now, the minute he is jailed and he is found guilty, all those people who associated themselves with Andrew Tate's brand, it's a matter of shame, and it will impact them. Just imagine if you are friends with someone and later on you found out he's a rapist or he's a pedophile or he's a criminal. Don't you think that will affect your reputation? I'm pretty sure there'll be many people who will say, if they have their photograph with Andrew Tate or whatever, they'll say, please delete my photograph if Andrew Tate has shown. But if there are youngsters, children, and who don't give a damn and want their 15 minutes of fame, they will very proudly show, oh, I was part of Andrew Tate. Now, what do I feel is the conclusion of this? Okay. Now, the conclusion is simply this. Andrew Tate was he's really good. This is what I'll tell you. Andrew Tate is brilliant. He kind of reminds me of Osho mixed with Thai Lopez, mixed with all the social media genius people who are there of network marketing, whether it's Grant Cardone, Dan Locke, all those people who you have seen viral, coaches, trainers, internet influencers, and add on the Osho effect. This is Andrew Tate for young men, for the boys. Man, unbelievable. His charisma, his way of talking, his way of presenting, the toys that you show, and the social media strategy that he had, that I'll pay you 48%, almost 50% of my revenue. Just share my clips, I'll give you money, and I'll make you part of my inner circle. He is a genius. Okay. Now, genius, maybe in the bad way, as you can say. Now, his admirers are all people with low self esteem, all people who are confused, men especially, and especially the male dominated population that wants to fight against the system that is promoting transgenderism, feminism, the feminazi, or the feminists who are there. Now, see, Andrew Tate really highlights real life problems that we men face. He's 100% right. You have to keep yourself fit. You have to be smart. You shouldn't take shit from anyone. You should be stand on your own two feet. You should earn your own revenue, your own money. You should be rich, successful. All this is good. And he's also highlighting real world problems of the currency devaluation, real life problems, transgenderism, then sexualization of children. All these are real values, real problems that we are facing. But his solutions are stupid. It's not realistic. The solutions are show your Bugatti, flex your cars, go to the gym, pump your muscles. And his lifestyle, having a twosome, threesome with girls, tell the girls they're bitches and you are my property and you're. Just imagine a 12, 13-year-old small boy, if he watches this kind of content, what do you think is going to register in his head? He's going to think this is normal. This is okay to say all these things. And remember this, Andrew Tate himself created this persona, this showmanship, this image of himself doing all these things before it went out of control. So he's no saint. And the thing that baffles my mind and shocks me is the people who admire him, the young men, they are ready to overlook his webcam sex business, the sex trade that he was into, the taking advantage of people who are mentally and emotionally weak. They are ready to overlook all this and still admire that kind of blind obedience. That's why I called him a cult group. And men who are lost, who want to be respected in society, who want girls to admire them, who want men to admire them, who want to be successful and rich, they will worship him as a god and think that he is the solution to all my problems. And they'll try to become copycats because they think he's talking so brash and bold and all that, nothing happens to him. I'll also talk like. We tend to admire our heroes and we try to become like them. And Andrew Tate, see, really he is not like this, but he's portraying this persona and they believe he can't do anything wrong. Overall, the biggest winner in all this is Andrew Tate. The money that he made, the power that he generates, the influence that he has, the social media presence. Man, he became the most searched and Googled person, more than Donald Trump, Kim Kardashian, all that. That clearly proves he's a bloody genius. But he has a bad checkered history. His foundation was very shaky and he did a lot of bad things. And then when you challenge the system with your baggage, with your own flaws, with your own horror stories, don't think for a minute they're not going to take revenge. And he pissed off a lot of people. See, remember why he chose Romania, even though he is an American citizen, even though he's a UK citizen, because all this shit of webcam, sex trade, talking like this, he can only do it in Romania and get away with it. He can't do it in US, he can't do it in UK. And last but not the least, Romania, because it's cheaper and there is no regulation. But remember, where there is no regulation, where there are no rules, it can work against you. And when you get into an industry where women are ready to do anything for sex, where you make money by sex scam or sex videos or, offering sex, like, his students were offered naked women and all that. You can only do this in countries where there is hardly any law. And he did that there. So, if you're going to enjoy the perks of a place that is evil, there will be the dangers also that come from the same. So, overall, this has been my opinion. And I'll tell you, given all these, especially this interview, which I'm guaranteeing you is going to go viral, I can assure you, Andrew Tate is finished. He is finished because they're going to make an example out of him. And all the people who hated his rhetoric, especially the feminists, especially parents who are so afraid, so scared of what he's brainwashing their children, everybody is going to jump on him. He did do some good things of highlighting issues instead of using his platform to do good. He chose to use real world problems and manipulate people to make easy money, showing the tempting, bad, evil things. He wanted to make you into a James Bond who can sleep around with 10, 20 women and flex your cars and flex your money and live a fantasy world, which is not real. The real world for us is we have to study hard, we have to work hard, we have to go 9 to 5 jobs. You can't flex your Bugatti and go to the gym full day and can't do all that shit. And talking shit about women and all, you will get thrown out of society, you'll get thrown out of your job, you'll get thrown out of all this is just social media, the fantasy world. Anyway, I've seen the documentary. I put the links down below. You watch the video and you tell me if you think I'm right or wrong. Having said that, good, bad, ugly, I'd love to read what you say, but my prediction is 100% Andrew Tate is finished. And all those people who associated themselves with Andrew Tate, they're in for serious trouble. Their brand, their reputation, everything it will be impacted. I'll tell you this much. Good, bad, ugly, feel free, comment down below. This is me signing off. You guys take care.